Good evening, folks. It's 89, Agape Force. And I got some questions, and I need answers. And before I get the answers, it's finals week. This is a critical week for the DFL. Shout out to the DFL Europe followers, DFL England, and also shout out to DFL Jamaica. We have some listeners all over the world now. So it's finals week. Apple Creek is going up against Toronto West to get things started for us in the DFL. So like I said, I have questions, and you guys know me. I need answers, and I need answers now. So I've made a call. I bought a calling card for this. I called all the way to London, England, to get Jason Knight on the line to answer some questions for us. Jason.
Yo.
Jason Knight is of the Apple Creek Golden Apples. And Jason, we just want to find out, first of all, were you surprised that your team beat the defending champions? The defending champions, you sunk the Titanic, Jason. Were you at all surprised by this?
No, not really. I believe that my team had what it takes, or what it took to beat them. They're one of our rivals, and they're going to be considered a rival if you beat them, so I think it was a very good matchup. I'm glad that my team pulled it out.
Now, you're facing a team in the finals going up against the Toronto West Saints.
I thought they were the Tigers.
They're not the Tigers anymore, they're the Saints. And Toronto West has a couple good players on the team as well that you are familiar with, some you are not familiar with. But based on what you've seen from Toronto West, how does Apple Creek win this game on Saturday night?
In theory, if you just stop Darnell James, then you stop West Toronto. Saints, Titans, Tigers, whatever they are. But like I said, in theory, it's easy, but I think Darnell's one of the better players in the league, so stopping him might not be as easy as we may think it is. Hopefully we get it done, but I think that's going to be a challenge coming up on Championship Sunday.
And for your teammates who are going to be listening to this, how do they stop Darnell James?
Prayer. You got a lot of prayer the night before. Like I said, he's one of the best, if not the best receiver in the league. I would like to say that it's not something that you could just say you do this and do that and stop Darnell. Darnell's been playing for years upon years, so he knows how to beat most coverages. He can catch, he's tall, he's athletic, so he's a complete receiver.
All right, and if they stop Darnell James, you think they can win the football?
The game's over.
Okay.
That's it. Like, people may argue his brother Sheldon James is there, but for all intents and purposes, it's just Darnell James. So, if Sheldon wants to be the one to beat us, then by all means.
Well, I understand that. I'm going to say, though, Sheldon James has accumulated 4+ touchdowns, 4+ interceptions on the season, and I think he's down for like 2 or 3 converts. So he's a factor. Yeah.
Well, everybody gets lucky. Like, some people win the lottery, right? So you can't say it's luck.
Wow. Big statement. So, okay, Jason, if you had to say you're going to go with 3 teams that you would say were the toughest teams for you to play this year, who would they be?
I would have to go with East because they beat us, and they're the defending champions, and it's always a challenge playing them. I would have to go with... Well, for us personally, I think that Apple Creek had the hardest time playing West Toronto, or Toronto West, due to their height. And I'm not one of the taller people in the league, so Darnell Sheldon posed a problem to me. And I thought I would probably go with maybe Perth.
Perth, one of the better teams in the league. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Perth.
Why Perth?
Because they have 2 girls who are very good. I would say their names, but I forget at this current time. They have
Donnery Evans, Tracy Evans.
Yeah, okay. They have one of the better quarterbacks in the league in Leon Perry.
Mm-hmm.
He's fast, he's quick, he can throw, he's agile, and they have Nathaniel Fraismith, who's also another good football player.
Mm-hmm.
So you put it all together, and they do have the formula to be a great team, and they are one of the better teams in the league, but unfortunately they make it to the final game.
Yeah, well, they ran into the Toronto West Saints, who your Apple Creek Golden Apples will be playing on Sunday.
Is it this Sunday?
Sorry, it's actually not Sunday. It's Saturday night. Not this Saturday night, the following week Saturday night. This week is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But Jason, that's all I have for you today. We found out how Apple Creek plans on stopping Toronto West Saints by slowing down Darnell James. And what would you say to your team on the offensive end? I mean, they have so much talent, so many targets. How does your offense, in what systematic, how do you guys put this together? You have so many people on your team who are really good.
Well, that's easy. I let my big brother take care of that. So he handles the offense. I don't question what he does. I don't second guess what he does. I let him do what he does, and obviously he's been doing pretty good as we're in the championship game. So I let him worry about that. That's out of my control. Well, everything's out of my control as I'm not even in the country, but I let Joel take care of that, and he's been playing long enough to understand what he has to do to win the game. So that's up to him. Whatever he decides to do, I'm full in support with him.
You've heard it here first, folks. That's it. Jason Knight is done. This is all the way from London, England. An exclusive for the DFL. Apple Creek versus the Toronto West Saints. This is East versus West. This is huge. And Apple Creek plans to go in and stop Darnell James and win the game. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
I've got another DFL exclusive. I got questions. You guys know me, I got a lot of questions and I need answers. This is different though. This time this is for all the marbles. We're all in on this one. This is the championship. I'm talking the championship. This is what we've played so hard all season for. And Toronto West is going up against Apple Creek. And Toronto West will be the visiting team, as this game's going to be played on a Saturday night in the East, in Scarborough. This is East Coast versus West Coast versus East Side. This is how Biggie died. This is huge. So, in searching for answers to my questions, I got on the phone and I called my guy Sheldon James. So I got Sheldon James on the phone for us, DFL. And you know what? It's epic. I wish I had some sound effects in the background right now, like my guy Funk Flex. But I got Sheldon James here. And Sheldon, what we want to know is, why is Toronto West still being underestimated? I don't get it. We talked about this in our last interview. Toronto West, when we look at the commission's picks, Toronto West they're not being picked to win games. They have this stigma about them that they complain to the refs too much, or they don't care about the league as much as other teams. What is it about Toronto West that you think, like, why do you guys have this rap?
Yeah, that's a mouthful right there. I don't quite know how to answer that question. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. One, there's always been rumblings about our team joining the league, and it's been explained that we have frozen out the league and we don't think highly of the league, whatever, what have you. Even though last week, on your interview show, I was singing praises to the league and how good it was. I also think another thing about it is, nobody really likes the upstarts. There's established teams in this league who have been here for a while, who think they're the top dogs. And it's tough, if you watch any NFL or NBA, you don't want the expansion team winning the Super Bowl, right? You're sort of like, hey, who are these newcomers, these upstarts? I think that plays into nowadays, but it's true. We have a lot of individuals on our team who are pretty confident in what they do. And so I think when you put all that together, on top of the added fact that, Toronto West, as far as sports goes, has been pretty dominant in basketball, volleyball with one, pretty much probably everything but track. I think putting all those things together makes it sort of like, big bad West sort of thing. To answer your question, I think that those things play into it.
And the thing is, you're 100% right about the fact that, these are the new guys coming in and they're making some noise, and that was fine. Mid-season, Toronto West is making some noise, but when it came down to the end of the season in the playoffs, and we're like, whoa, these guys are the number one seed, we're like, what's happening here? Now, let me put this into perspective for you, Sheldon. You're in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, the DFL has its three-headed monster, and this isn't a name I came up with. This is the actual name for these guys. Like, this is the name they were born with, the three-headed monster.
Oh, really?
Mount Olive, Mississauga, Perth. And I'm talking about, now, when I say these teams, I'm talking about Carl Brown. I'm talking about Marvin Clark. I'm talking about Lavelle Lindo. I'm talking about Henderson Henry.
Yeah.
These are football players on these teams. And I'm talking about Leon Perry. I'm talking about Nathaniel Frey Smith. These are legitimate football players. And I'm not even going to get into too much of the ladies, but Donnery Evans, Tracy Evans, you guys just played them on Sunday. This is the road you've had to take to the final. So I think the respect is earned. You guys have definitely earned your respect, and you're in the finals now. I just want you to quickly reflect. I know Perth doesn't want to really hear about it, so they're probably not going to be listening to this interview, but reflect briefly on your Western Conference championship victory.
Well, I mean, you said it right there. You named, that's a laundry list of a lot of very good players. A lot of players that I've played with over the years that I know are warriors. And it's just, it's amazing to be in this position where we can look back and say that we'll beat all those teams in our very first year. It's amazing. It's a blessing. The game on Sunday was everything that I expected it to be. A lot of my teammates didn't quite think it was going to be that way either. They were naive because they're new and they didn't understand what it takes to get to this level. And then on the other hand, maybe some were a little bit overconfident and thinking that it was going to be a cakewalk. But it basically went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. If you recall last week, I had said that I thought Perth was the most talented team left in the playoffs, and that they posed a lot of problems. And in actuality, they posed even more problems. Their game plan was actually pretty sound in terms of Leon kept going down the depth chart and who he was trying to get a lot of options. I think he hit every single last person on offense for at least one reception, if not two or three. That just shows mind deep in your offensive sets. It just shows you their depth, and it shows you the leadership of Leon to be able to pull that out. At the end of the day, we pulled out a close win. Which, again, at this stage in the game, we're in the playoffs. That's how the games are going to be. I mean, I think another reason we've been disrespected by a lot of people, including the commissioner's picks, is that we don't blow teams out, in quotation marks, whatever that means, right, in terms of the score. But, again, when you get to the elite teams and in the playoffs as we are right now, blowouts become less and less frequent. I don't know what the Apple Creek score was. I think it was a 9-point game. So that's a one-possession game over there. And ours is a one-possession game. It's playoffs, so that's what's going to happen. I think that we're just lucky to be in the situation that we're in. We're blessed, and it's a wonderful thing.
Now, we just talked about all those good teams you had to play against in the West. Now you're going up against Apple Creek in the final, so it doesn't get much easier for you guys. And I mean, this is a team that you're slightly familiar with in terms of some of their guys, and you've played them before. Now, without giving away all your secrets and your schemes and how you guys plan to win this game, in 2 Saturdays, but what exactly do you think you need to do to slow down Apple Creek and get this win?
Oh yeah, Apple Creek's tough, man. Like I said last week again, I think that I picked them to win against East. I just thought they were the better team and definitely the more talented team, and that was proven. So to answer your question, how do I plan to stop them? It's a matter of we got to buckle up our chin straps and go out there and match their intensity. I think one thing Perth did in our last game is that they were more intense in the first half than we were, and we can't afford for that to happen against Apple Creek. They have a lot of weapons. Their girls are probably the best in the league. I could think it's safe to say it's hard to argue with that. Last time we played them, they were missing their quarterback, Joel Knight, who presents his different type of game when he's in the game. So I think that will help them just because he's their leader. They're also missing Jason Knight, who may or may not be that big of a deal. I mean, their defense wasn't that good last time we played them, so without him, can't imagine them being much worse.
Wow.
But he's conveniently away for that game. It seems like at least one of the Knights are always missing when we play them. I don't know if that's just the stars are in alignment or draft dodging or something. I don't know. But that's for another story, another time.
They're taking turns. They're taking turns avoiding you guys. So they played rock paper scissors. One of them got away in the preseason, but
like I said, it's a little bit suspect. I don't know. I'm not going to call anybody out, but it's a little bit more than a coincidence, I think. Yeah. So this time around, I expect it to be war. I expect it to come down to the wire. They're a good team. They know us very well. I think we're a good team, and we know them very well. And on the field, there's no love lost, even though we're all friends off the field. Neither one of us wants to lose to the other one, so we're gonna see. I anticipate it being a great game.
Now, that what you just said right there, no love lost off the field. When the game is going on, the game is going on. But that is exactly what DFL is. It gives us all a chance to compete against each other. But when the game is done, the game is done, and we leave it at that. But I will ask you a question that isn't relevant to your championship going forward, but I didn't give you a chance to answer this in our last interview. So I've been asking people, in the DFL you got 5 guys and 3 girls on the field. Now, if you could choose 5 guys in this league to kind of if you had to choose 5 guys to say, you know what, I'm going to choose these 5 guys, and then I got my 3 girls, and we can't be beat, who would your 5 guys be?
5 guys and 3 girls. Okay. And you can't pick yourself, obviously.
You can't pick yourself. I'm
just automatically on that team. Is that how that works?
Yeah, you're automatically on that. So essentially, you're going to go with. You can go with. I still want you to name 5 guys, but if you're starting, then 4 guys.
Okay, so 5 guys I'm going to go with. I'm definitely going to go with Darnell James. I need him out there, big body wide out. I'm definitely going to go with Carl Brown, because he's a warrior, and I know how he operates. That's 2 right there. I'm going to go with Lavelle Lindo, because we have that undergrad Andrews University connection. Been playing for a long time together. I'm going to go with you yourself. We have that, pitching in the backyard since we were 9 years old connection.
There you go.
I got one more pick, I think.
You got one more pick.
I'll go with Leon Perry would be my last pick. He's won a championship with me already, so I figure, might as well keep it all in the family.
Well, I'm not.
3 girls?
Yeah, give me 3 girls.
I'm going with my QB, man. We need someone to get us the ball, so we're going to go with Sasha from Toronto West. Despite Joel Knight, because know, as my second, as my girl. Because, you know, you want the best of the person in the family, so that makes sense. And then my third girl, I'm going to go with that. Is it Donnery from Perth?
Donnery Evans, yep.
Yeah. I don't want to have to guard her, so I'll just put her on my team and we'll call it a day.
There you go. That's a mean 8 right there. That's a mean 8. And I'm emphasizing mean, not because I'm on the team, but that's an ugly 8. So you got problems, DFL, if that 8 ever comes together in an all-star game or something like that. You don't want that problem. But you heard it here first, folks. Toronto West is ready for the championship. And they're representing, now it's a little bit of a burden on their shoulder. They're representing all of the teams from the Western Conference. They're representing the whole west side of Toronto. I don't usually do this, Sheldon, but I'm going to give you my west side Toronto accent, you know what I mean? In the West, you guys say stuff like bum, like I'm going to the championship, bum. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, bum? But the East Coast, they're coming correct, Sheldon. I can't lie. Apple Creek is gonna be. They're scheming. You know that I'm affiliated with some Apple Creek people, so they've been scheming on how to stop Toronto West. So it's not gonna be an easy game. I promise you that. DFL will not disappoint in the championship, folks. So be there, buy your tickets. There are no tickets, but just come out and support the DFL in the championship. Toronto West will be representing the West, and Apple Creek will be representing the East. Shout out to the UK, DFL UK listeners. Shout out to the DFL Trinidad and Tobago listeners. That's all we got for you today, folks.